The lighter side of pest control. This is Tales from the Crawl Space podcast with Jack and Nick.
Hello and welcome to the Tales from a Crawl Space podcast. I am Nick, joined by every firefighter's favorite, Jack.
Yeah, see, the firefighters just love me. Look at them steps. Hey.
Just like Grandma loved me.
I was hoping you're going to say everybody's favorite beach motherfucker, but you know.
That would have been good too. I didn't even think about one. How are you doing today, Jack?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I am pretty good. I can't complain.
Great. Good to know. Good to know. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this one. Got some good stories.
Yes, we are doing gross stories, nasty stories, and we actually have had a couple reviews, or not reviews, but some submitted stories from people from Reddit, the email, and now we actually have a Google phone number. So let me go ahead and read that phone number off. It's 864-810-1216. You can leave a voicemail at that number, and we will have it on the next podcast. We'll go ahead and have the audio on there. We just ask that you keep just your first name, any companies out of there, especially your pest control companies, any apartment complexes, because we really don't want to get sued.
No.
So again, that number is 864-810-1216. Feel free and call in. If you've got any pest control stories, go ahead and call into that. We'll have that in the next show.
Yeah, we can actually take your voicemail. Either we can just say it, or if you want to have your voice on the podcast, we can actually take your voicemail as a sound file, and I can pop it in the podcast here. So if you want to hear yourself on a podcast, you can always do that too.
Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and get some plugs out of the way. So we do have an Instagram. What's
our Instagram? It is TFTC Podcast, at TFTC Podcast for Instagram.
And we do have a Facebook group as well, Tales from the Podcast Facebook group. You can also find most of our updates at the Pest Control Humor Depot on Facebook. I usually try to update Reddit as well. I'm still working on that Reddit page, a little behind, kind of got caught up in some video games this week. Trying to think of anything else. Oh, did I tell you, Jack, that we actually got a review in from someone?
Oh, we did?
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
He only gave me his, he didn't give me his first name. He put it under B. Clinton. He said that this podcast is the best thing ever since sexual relations with women. So thank you.
I promise I did not have sex with that fireman.
And we will have a celebrity writing into us every week. So
awesome. Tell Killer I said hi.
No politics.
No. You're right. No politics.
Anyways, you want to go ahead and start us off with some stories, Jack? I hear you have some gross stories.
Oh,
I want to hear a bedbug story. You have a bedbug story?
No, actually, I don't have a bedbug story. I have a couple disgusting roach ones. I've got a paper mite one. I've got bat shit 2 feet high in the air. Piles of bat shit that are 2 feet high. I even had a customer with a sex dungeon.
Let's leave that one for last.
Okay, we'll save the sex dungeon for last because we know Nick likes to always finish up spicy.
Yes.
Okay, let's go for the double header of roaches. When I was working for the Big T in just south of Baltimore, we did a house in Bowie, Maryland, which is just outside the DC Beltway. So it's Montgomery County. And these people, a house with the people that have the prayer rug and the big fluorescent light on the wall pointing in a certain direction. It's, that's the thing. That's cool. Well, the roaches, oh my God, walked in and the place just stunk of roach pheromone. I mean, you could smell it just opening the storm door when the main door of the house was still closed. You could still smell the roach pheromones all over the place. It was nasty. And I looked down and
how would you try that? the people who may not work in pest control.
What's that? How about describe the smell? It's
Describe to us like what they smell like, because I have quite a few friends who listen to the show, and I don't think they know.
okay. It's like it's a musky, wet cardboard pheromone smell. It's about the only way I can describe it. If you had old, nasty, wet cardboard with a musky note to it, if we're explaining it like coffee, it's like wet cardboard with a little bit of a musky note to it.
And you smelled it once, you'll smell it again, and you'll walk into some place. You might walk into a restaurant and you smell it. Do not eat.
Oh yeah, and on a side note, you can tell how a restaurant keeps their kitchen by driving around back and looking at the dumpster. If their dumpster's funky, I guarantee you their kitchen is funky. And I know every other pest control veteran out there right now is shaking their heads, going, "That's the right shit right there," because it's true. Okay, where we were, we're at the door, knocked on the door, and a roach came out running under the door. Outside, went off the porch, kept on going. It's middle of summer, hot day. And I'm like, oh, that's what we have to look forward to. I was a service manager. I was with the other service manager, Bob. Me and Bob knew this was a problem house. Our technician had told us about it, and we had to go check it out. He's like, man, you got to see this place. So we get down there. Roach runs out the door, and we open the door, and it's kind of a small entry of the living room, and the kitchen's directly ahead of us. And so we walk into the kitchen, and I'm standing there talking to the homeowner. He's trying to explain to me in the best English he knows possible about they don't know why they have this problem. And I'm looking around the kitchen, and things seem normal. There's some stuff in the sink, but the place isn't completely dirty like you'd expect it to be. But I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start inspecting. Well, as I'm looking around, I open up all the cabinets. Corner, like a 45-degree angle cabinet from the one wall to the wall in front of me, there's that little angled cabinet. And I opened it up. And apparently in a Muslim household, they have to hide their pictures of Jesus, because there was a picture of Jesus and he had roaches all over his face. It was like Jesus with a roach beard, and it was freaky as hell. And they all just kind of scattered. I'm like, okay, that was interesting. So after seeing Jesus with a roach beard, I start looking around and look under the kitchen sink, and there's like a super highway of roaches going in and out of the walls where the pipes go into the wall. And then I dishwasher, and usually I'm a big stickler for treating around the dishwasher if I can when it comes to roach jobs, because there's so much moisture and stuff behind and around, and that's a completely undisturbed area. But if you want to get a good look, sometimes you got to open the door. Well, I figured out why there weren't any dirty dishes in the sink is because the washer was broken, had never been run, but they wanted to shove their dishes in the dishwasher. I mean, not just set them up on the rack like a normal person does before they run it. They actually crammed shit in here, so you couldn't get. And when I opened it up, I'd swear 400 to 500 roaches come pouring out of it, all over the place.
Oh my God!
Up, and I look at Bob, and Bob's looking around, and I look up, and the roaches are actually congregating on the ceiling above me and Bob. And just to kind of test this theory, I kind of scooched to the left, and this cloud of roaches on the ceiling kind of scooched with me, and they would drop off onto us. And I was asking an entomologist about that later, a good friend, Jerry, the entomologist, and he said, well, yeah, when they're in a place where there's way too many roaches to compete for food, they'll try to drop off onto you or something else to be taken somewhere else to a different source of food. All right, so we went from the kitchen down this little 3-step thing down to this lower level where the prayer rug and the big fluorescent light, I guess, was facing the east, I think. That's cool. And on the rug are these little humps of things moving around under the rug, and apparently things with your shoes. You're supposed to have bare feet when you step on them. So Bob, being a knucklehead, walks over and stomps on this little lump that's moving under the rug, and you hear that wet pop, that satisfying wet pop you get when you stamp on on a roach, and it was under the prayer rug, and he just stomped on it.
No.
So we had to cancel that account because it was just, I mean, they had the dishwasher thing, and they didn't want to clean anything else up, and other reasons, the way they had treated our technician and stuff, that we ended up having to cancel the account. We don't run, we run from problem people. At least that was Big Green's policy. Now, my next roach story, Deal, Maryland. I was working for Schmerlich as opposed to Sherman-X or all those other companies. And Deal, Maryland's a little place right on the Chesapeake Bay, these old cottage houses, older houses. And this one we pulled up to seemed to be like a Montgomery Ward's kit house back in the 1920s or 30s. Cute little house. Walked in, and the place was like dark wood panel and the light out of the room. And there was an old guy, and really old dude was telling us she's got roaches and couldn't figure out where they come from, just like everybody can't figure out where they come from. Walk into the kitchen, and they're all over the place. Kitchen's greasy, stove's greasy, the backsplash is greasy. Place just smells like old food. There's a calendar from the 1970s hanging on the wall. And when I bumped against it, roaches came out from between all the months and everything. Now, the first weird thing about this is that I had a box of Max Force FC, and I'm going up along. They had this crown molding up along the wall where the ceiling is, and these roaches were hanging out in the gaps of the crown molding. I was putting out bait, and they were eating the bait as fast as I could put it out. They would follow the tip of my bait gun, and they just start tearing it up, and I'd go a little farther down. They'd follow me and eat more. I mean, I went through an entire box, 5 tubes. That's what, 30 grams a tube. So 150 grams of bait. I put this little pheromone traps out, which doing that's like pissing in the ocean and hoping you're going to change the taste, but just the same. So I should have hit my cough button. And as we went through the house, I got to the bedroom, and there's this young guy laying on this bed, and he's got a picture of Hitler. His bed. He's got a shotgun against one nightstand. He's got a 38 special on the other nightstand. He's just laying there, and across at the foot of his bed on the other wall was a picture of William Goering, the other German SS dude, whatever the hell he was. This is disgusting shit. And I expected to see a closet full of white robes and stuff like that. And so Tommy that said, "Man, it's dark out here," laughed from the last episode. So Tommy walks in and goes, "Hey, like your Hitler picture."
He did not do that. Oh my god.
Yes, he did. "Hey, I like your Hitler picture." And Tommy got irritated because the old man's out there cooking, and the kid's hollering, "I want my hamburger. What's wrong with my hamburger? Where's my hamburger?" Tommy walked in and goes, "Hey, you're young. Get your own fucking hamburger." He just got pissed off with this dude. Told him to get his own fucking hamburger. But no, that place was disgusting because the roaches were eating the bait as fast as I could put it out, and this Nazi kid was hanging out in the bedroom letting the So that's that one. One I thought was really interesting, and I learned a lot on. The regular part of the building was just fine. People were complaining about bats and the smell when you get up to the top floor. Well, we got attic access, and we went up there. The first thing you see when you go up the ladder are several piles of bat shit that were at least 2 feet high each.
Oh my god.
2 feet high of bat shit. And I looked up, and it's an old building in Woodstock, Virginia. Real high, steep, angled roof. So it's almost like a cathedral ceiling in this attic. And I look up and there's hundreds of bats just up there roosting, hundreds of them. And that's where these massive piles of bat shit. And I'm thinking, part of my brain is going, man, I ought to get buckets of this stuff and put it in my tomato garden. But first thing we had to do was get them out of there. Now, I don't know about other states, but in Virginia, they're protected until a certain time of the year because they eat mosquitoes and stuff. So only thing we could do is encourage them to leave and then seal up the place. So we got something called chlorpicrin, which is the active ingredient in tear gas. Oh my God. And it evaporates really quickly, and it makes the room it evaporates in miserable to be in. So what we did is we got a couple pie pans, and there's two different attic accesses, and in each access we got just far enough up so we could see, put the pie pan down, and put like a quarter cup of chlorpicrin in the pie pan, and then got down really quickly and closed the lid, closed the access. Then went to the other side and had to put goggles on because it was already starting to evaporate, and put the chlorpicrin in this other one. And man, I tell you, we stood there right below the access to the attic, and the noise coming out of that attic when that chlorpicrin hit them bats, man, they went ape shit, flying all over the place, just falling over themselves to get out.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But we had to leave that like that overnight because there's no way we would be able to get up there for a while. So we went back the next morning. Bats weren't there. We sealed everything up. But man, we had to get up there in Tyvek suits and snow shovels and the tractor bags and shovel these massive piles of bat shit out of the attic. But yeah, chlorpicrin, that stuff, you want to get bats out of an attic, that'll do it.
After you're done, they're like, so this is under my contract, right? This doesn't cost anything extra.
Well, tell them you're going to bring out the big guns and charge them a little extra. They'll pay for it if they want the bats gone, because as much bat shit is in that place. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Now I had a house. I can't remember where it was. I've been doing this too long. I'm getting too old. Yeah, hashtag beach motherfucker on the 27th. I'm getting too old. I'll be a half century old.
Old beach motherfucker.
I had a whole. I'm an old beach motherfucker, but I had a customer that the upstairs part of the house was fine, but you get down to the basement, and I don't know why, but it was like every single newspaper for the past 30 or 40 years, most of them Wall Street journals, which you don't really save those for posterity because it's very dated material. But the homeowner was getting bit a lot. And it turns out they had paper mites from all these. I mean, there were so many. They were almost stacked to the ceiling, yellowed. There was damp, musty, and I had to turn my big self sideways to scoot down these aisles of newspaper in the basement. You couldn't get to anything else. Apparently at one point in time there was furniture and tables and stuff, but you couldn't get to it because all the shit was papers. And I actually, being that they were showing us their bites, I had gotten my bird job Tyvek suit, and I duct taped the legs to my boots, and I duct taped my gloves to the sleeves, and because I didn't want any mites getting under my skin. So
yeah, I don't blame you.
But yeah, man, they were bit up something bad, and it was just like hoarding newspapers. Now I've had a bunch of hoarder customers.
We all have,
and they're nasty, and they're nasty. But yeah, that was paper mites, not fun. My last story that I have is it's disgusting because it's the kind of thing that people should keep to themselves. I mean, look, I'm gonna pre-qualify this story by saying this: you like who you like, you love who you love, you do what you do. And if you're happy, don't hurt anybody else. More power to you. That's great. That's the only thing that really matters is being happy. So now what I'm going to go into now is this is almost like a fireman thing. This dude had, normal house, everything's, just going through, checking, the guy wanted a baseboard jockey, and our company insisted that we did baseboard jockeys at the time. So not the company I work for now, but the company in the past. So, and I was going around jockeying all the baseboards, spraying here, spraying there, making them feel good. And he goes, oh, yep, go on downstairs when you're ready. So I went down the steps and the lights were off. And when you get down to the bottom of the steps, so there's a little landing, and then there's a door to the right and a door to the left, and they were both closed. So I'd hit the switch. I went down the steps, and he goes, just go onto the one side. And I could have sworn he said to the right. So I didn't go to the door to the left. I went to the door to the right. Maybe his perspective, he was facing the wrong way, but I opened the door, and there's a sex dungeon. The walls were painted black and covered with, I'll just say, alternative lifestyle graphic depictions of tab A into slot B.
Okay.
You kind of catch what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
Now, that's his own deal. That's fine. If he wants to go down there and treat himself like an amusement park, that's great. Have fun with it. I don't need to see that. No, I don't want to. That's not my bag. It's not my bag, baby. So yeah, no. And everywhere you looked, there was another depiction of whatever slot someone decided to offer up the person with the tab. They were inserting tab A into slot B, and there was all kinds of toys. I'm assuming various states of sanitation in that room. Little soap and water, dude. Really?
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, the room smelled like a football locker room and poop. That's what it smelled like. Oh. So, yeah. And he said, and then I hear someone come down and says, no, the other side. I'm thinking, it's too late. I've already seen it. It's too late.
Too late. I've already seen it.
I go home. I'm going to go to my happy place.
Does that count as a workers' comp?
I would think so. The mental damage inflicted by the prevailing smell of poop, dirty sex toys, and pictures of the sort that I've tried to describe as clean as possible, because I'm not trying to offend anybody because, like I said, live your life, be happy. That's fantastic. I just don't want to see pictures of it. That's all. You don't want to see pictures of me in a hey nonny, ripping up a boy howdy or nothing like that. You don't want to see none of that, and I'm not going to show you pictures of it. I don't want to see a picture of your dangle in someone else's. I live right outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania, so I can say Hershey Highway and get away with it. Right up someone's Hershey Highway. So, because I live 2 minutes from Hershey Highway. So there you go. So yeah, I don't want to see that.
You walk in there and you're like, man, this guy really loves the Hershey amusement park. Like, God,
yeah, man. I tell you, even that toy over there's got chocolate on it. So, so there's that. Apparently I should have gone to the other way, because that's where the washer and dryer was, and the sump pump and the glue boards and the couple little RTUs they had in the corner. And I would have been much happier had my dad in the laundry room. But no, he had to tell me the wrong door. I don't know if he was trying to set me up to see if I'd be like, hey. But no.
Like,
I was like,
you mind if I come here after my shift's over?
You said come. Okay, we ended with the dirty story, but I'm going to try to get that taste out of my brain of smelling that. And I want to hear I understand we have a epic email.
We do have an epic email. Hopefully the audio won't cut out. I wasn't able to get it on my other device, but let me get that pulled up real quick.
Okay.
A little backstory. I did a termite inspection on a house. Newlywed couple, no major issues, treated it for dry wood and subs, nothing out of the ordinary. Fast forward to 4 years later. I was working in the office trying to get caught up in paperwork. My secretary says I have an emergency call. It's a retailer telling me about a job in Santa Cruz, California. It's a property that I inspected 4 years property, so the same property he's talking about. I set the appointment up for me to come out and take a look. Hang up the phone, think nothing of it. 2 minutes later, I get another emergency call. This time it's from the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Department telling me about the same job. At this point, my interest is piqued, which mine is too. I let them know that I'm set up, already ready to go out there. Hang up, get another call immediately afterwards. This time it's the county health department. And sure enough, it's about the same property. I feel like I know where this is going. Then I was contacted by Vector Control about the same property. At this point, I'm excited to see what the fuck is going on at this residential property. I take my trainee up to the property with me, meet everyone that's there, and this is what we found. The 1 acre property was overrun by trees, vines, ivy, and shrubs. At least 10 abandoned vehicles. 6 tarps covered carports filled with VHS tapes. At least 1,000 bags of garbage scattered throughout the property.
Jesus.
But the worst has yet to come. And I knew it was about to happen because of smell coming from the house. The rats running overhead in the vines in the middle of the day.
Oh, boy.
The sheriff opens the door and stands back so I can see what's going on. Oh my God, hang on.
Jesus Christ.
Apparently, the husband had slept with the wife's sister and she had a mental breakdown and let the house go.
Wow.
Okay, this actually just triggered a story for me, so I got another story to add. What we walk in is fine. 8 inches of kitty litter everywhere and newspaper everywhere. Too many stray cats to count, cat food, bathtubs and toilets filled to the brim with cat litter, thousands of flies, garbage hung from one side of the house to the other, rotting everywhere.
I'm sure that smelled wonderful.
Oh, that triggers a story so bad for me. I'm so glad I read that.
I'm sorry, but Febreze can't do shit for that. Febreze can't. Not at all. It's going to smell like crapple pie. Apple cinnamon would just smell like crapple pie.
What was it my brother used to say? Now it smells like shit and flowers.
Or citrus.
It was so bad. The cats and rats were cohabiting the house together.
Oh, boy. Well, like on the Ghostbusters. Dogs and cats getting along.
Yeah.
It's the end of the world.
Cats and rats getting along. Oh, my God.
Oh,
I'm a stickler for customer service, and my training knew this. But when I walked into this place, he puked up his lunch right in the middle of the living room.
That's awesome.
And he looked at me from what was a bent over position. I was going to fire him. My only response was, "Don't worry, bud. It makes it smell better."
Oh, man.
Jack, you wouldn't have read this story, didn't you?
I did, but it sounds so much better when you're reading it. And I'm listening to it as opposed to reading it myself because I'm, wow, barf.
This is my first time reading the story. This is, wow. I explained to everyone there that there is no way getting 100% control the way the house stood, but that I could put a major dent in it. They all agreed, and I returned the next day with 60 hammock traps and caught all the cats over the next 4 days. Wow. Next came to the rats. Over normal jobs, that takes 6 to 12 snap traps. This job, it took 144 snap traps, 200 glue boards, and I set up 50 bait stations.
Damn.
Shit.
I would like to know, dude. Email us back. I would like to know what type of bait you use. I'm willing to bet it was final, but I'm curious.
For me, I would just go in there with contract buckets and just start taking it, just dumping it. Just here.
Just pitching it like Santa Claus does candy off the fire truck. Just throwing it around.
Yeah. Oh my God. Over the next week with daily visits, we caught 485 rats filled with the empty bait stations daily. My God, you could have probably gone in there twice a day and
Wow.
filled up those bait stations.
Probably. Damn.
I've never even. I've only seen. I only have a couple stops that monthly I have to go actually refill the bait stations with 4 blocks in each one of them. There's some I go in there and they're only
Yeah.
completely eaten off of. I've never had that before.
Right. Oh, wow.
The
Now you use keys,
I just know it's
the
contract.
triangular,
No, not the
the baiters, the flat top baiters, the low profiles.
no, not the flat ones. The blockier ones, the taller ones.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, no, we don't use the other ones because we want to get the job done. I know we don't use final, but the ones we use, I know it gets it. It's not the red ones, it's the green ones, green and bluish ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. The retailer asked me if I could provide a quote for cleaning up the house and property. I quoted her about $200,000 and never heard from them again.
God.
I mean, I would do that job for 200. I would have probably done it lower than that. Not trying to speak bad about you.
No. I would have dumped 200,000. Bet your ass I would have.
I don't know what I would do because I've never done something like that. So that would take a while. Fast forward 1.5 years later, 1.5 years later, I get a call from the guy for a termite inspection. Sure enough, it's just the house I described. And out of morbid curiosity, I had to go see this property. The guy just brought the property, as in had. Okay, so he had somebody come in and pull everything out of the yard, paid a crime scene unit to clean up everything, and came up to the house and cleaned up everything for $200 million or $250,000. So she could have saved money by calling him out, but did not. This house was now a gorgeous home, and I would eat off the floors, but I was flabbergasted by what this man had accomplished. Well, thank you, David.
Wow.
We really appreciated that story because that was
Man.
wonderful.
I got just a little quick thing. Just Friday,
Mm-hmm.
I had a customer in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, that apparently said "fuck a cat box" and just dumped an entire bag of cat litter on her basement floor. And I don't think the cat likes standing on a pile of something to shit, so it shit right next to it. It didn't shit on the cat litter; it shit right next to it. A lot of shit.
I love cats.
Hey, but hell, I love cats too, but I wanted to shit in a box, not on the pile, not next to the pile of what's not in the box, just thrown on the floor. I just
No, that was a cat's way of saying treat me better. You make me shit in a box, treat me better.
Yeah, what do you just gonna put the shit on the floor and make me shit on it like that? No, I'm gonna shit where I want to. That's exactly what he did. So yeah, it just brought that to mind.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna have a couple stories from mine, and then we actually have the same gentleman who wrote into us last week. Sasquatch shit or whatever it is. I can't remember.
Sam Squanch.
I need to watch that episode of Trailer Park Boys.
Yes, you do.
I'm watching Sopranos right now, so I'll get to that eventually. Anyways, so talking about cat litter, the same property that I had found the dead body at, I was there doing a callback. So they said they're having some issues of, I think, roaches or ants or something like that. Walk in, it just smells like cat shit. I mean, just straight up cat shit, cat piss, all you can smell.
Yummy.
I walk in, there is cat litter piled everywhere, or not cat litter piled over there, but there's like a couple cat boxes, a couple cats out and everything like that. Kitchen's gross. Kitchen's nasty. So I walk upstairs, and this is not compared to the last story we just read, but I walk upstairs and there is the cat box with cat litter to the brim. You can see where it's hard and where the cat had just pissed all in it. The cat couldn't use it anymore. And because the cat couldn't use it anymore, the cat was shitting right beside it. and there was a pile of cat shit. I mean, it was probably about 8 inches high, probably about a foot long of just cat crap piled up. And then I walk into the guy's bedroom, and I guess this guy's a gamer, which I am too. Love playing video games. And I guess he also likes to drink too, because there were piles of Mike Hard lemonade tallboy cans all around his computer, where he had just been chugging them and is tossing them, which, you know, to each their own. I personally find Mike Hard disgusting, probably because
it is.
Now, I also say that when I had the peach ones one night with Papa John's pizza and then woke up throwing it up. We also had Mad Dog that night. So, high school, I don't miss you.
Mad Dog. Oh my God.
Yeah. There we go, triggering some memories. Roach shit, dead cat shit, rats, and Mad Dog.
Mad Dog 2020.
And Brandon,
I think COVID's bad.
Which Brandon, we will have him on the show soon. Thank you, bud, for making me drink that shit. It's all your fault. But I got done, and I basically went and told the management, I was like, y'all need to send them a letter to clean up. You guys also might want to go in and inspect that unit, because I would count that as animal cruelty, how he has the cats just living in there with all that cat shit just piled everywhere, and he's not taking care of them, obviously.
Right.
So, do we want a depressing story real quick?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's hear it.
So we had this place. It's a place we had just gotten and had to do about 1.5 billion every week. Nasty place. Downtown Spartanburg. I mean, just the worst of the worst area. Section 8 to the fullest. I had some units in there that literally had a hole in the floor in the hallway, where you would literally walk through and the carpet was denting in from where the floor had started caving in. Like, I had to be careful not to step through it, or either that or my foot would go through the floor like Clark Griswold.
Oh God.
Yeah. So this place was nasty. I mean, I saw maintenance guys go through there like a pair of underwear. I mean, they just would not stick around because this place was so nasty. They wouldn't have any help out there.
Oh, shit, can't blame them.
I can't. So I go into this one unit, and these people, they weren't home. I'm going around spraying, and I had somebody with me that day, and it is just infested. I mean, German roaches everywhere. I mean, all over the place, all over the kitchen. Just walk in, and they're like, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" I'm like, "What's up, dude? About to kill you."
High five.
Yeah. I don't know if they were paying rent or not. I mean, the rent was probably, $300 over there, so they probably were contributing quite a bit. But how many were living there? But, I'm going down, and I do the thing where you're spraying the baseboards, stick to the right. Put your hand on the right hand. I mean, you don't put your hand on the wall, but stick to the right side. That way you don't miss anything. So going through, hit the bathroom. Bathroom's just nasty, disgusting. See a couple of kid stuff in there. I'm like, okay, they got kids in here. Go to the parents' bedroom. Parents have a bed, queen, king-size bed, all of that. Nice TV in there. Okay, get them in their room. Then I go in the kids' room. I go in the kids' room, and there's mattresses on the floor. And there's kitty mats on the floor, right? The same thing that you would put a kindergarten on. There's about 6 of them. So they get about, maybe not 6, probably about 4 or 5. They got about 4 or 5 kids living in this room, sleeping on the floor, and there's roaches all along the corner of the room where they're nesting in there. And I'm like, just mad at this point. I'm furious. So I'm like, all right. So I go tell the property management about it, and they're like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I come back out there. I always tell the management, we got to give it up to 2 weeks before we can spray again. It's dangerous. We don't want that chemical to build up, blah, 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 blah. And I get back out there, and that next week, oh, yeah, the lady from blah, blah, blah is talking about how she's seeing all these roaches. I'm like, yeah, because she has them everywhere, and she has them all around her kids. Like, I don't know what you'd expect. And I went back in there a couple weeks later, just as nasty. And I told them, they need to get ready for a roach clean out, pull everything out of the cabinets, everything out. They
Right.
didn't pull anything out. They never do.
Of course.
So, you got to do your best in there. But I kept, telling them, if they're not going to pull it out, we're going to have to charge more for it. And you guys need to charge them that amount, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think anything ever got done with that place. But that's the type of stuff in pest control that does make me very sad, seeing the conditions that people allow their kids to live into.
Well, you saying that brings something up because you asked about a bed bug nasty job. I got one for you. It was a house in Woodbridge, Virginia. This lady has an adult child on the mid to low functioning autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kind of thing where at night he'll take off and just run out the house if no one's keeping an eye on him. Mm-hmm. So they have to lock his bedroom from the outside at night. He has a bathroom right off his bedroom, so he's got everything he needs, but they have to keep him from getting out. Now, what his mom did was apparently found some pictures, like posters and stuff, sitting in someone's trash that she thought he might like. And she says she brought him into the house because she thought he'd like it and put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
But there's bed bugs in the house, and we had to do a heat treatment on that place. Mm-hmm. You ever done heat treatments?
I have not been around for heat treatment yet. I want to do one, but we do that as a company.
Yeah, we set up the little wireless thermometers in different parts of the room, and we have the fan and heater, then fan and heater, this little circuit of fans so that gets this whirlwind going. Mm-hmm. And we sit out like in the living room monitoring the laptop, watching the temperatures on all these little wireless things. And man, I tell you, they had this laminate flooring
mm-hmm.
on top of hardwood flooring, and there was a bunch of bed bugs under that because you should have seen them coming out of the woodwork.
Oh.
Out of the dressers, out of the from behind the poster. Man, I got a HEPA after we turned the heat off in that place, and I sucked up, I would say, enough to fill a big gulp cup, a 7-Eleven big gulp cup.
So after
there was that many bed bugs.
Did you go down to like trailer park and go up to the meth heads and be like, "Hey, I got something for you to smoke right here"?
I should have. Yeah. I really should have, because and the lady was like, I just brought him a poster and that crap. So, wow.
Yeah, no, with my girlfriend, whenever we go to Goodwill and stuff like that, and she sees a painting she likes, I'm like, we can get it, but I am taking it apart and I'm looking around for bed bugs because about 2 out of 10 times when I find bed bugs, it's actually probably more than that. It's usually behind a painting. I just look at the wall behind the bed, just pick the painting out. Yep, you got bed bugs. What are they up there? I thought they were bed bugs. I'm like, man, bed bugs they're going to be everywhere. They want to hide. And if they're there, they're in all freaking house.
Oh, man, I used to do hotel rooms. You know how they like screw the pictures to the wall so people won't steal them? I'm like, those have to come off. Those have to come off. Mm-hmm. I'd flip all the furniture because they'd have what they used to drill in to recess the screws inside the furniture. You find all kinds of little eggs in there and stuff. You got to turn everything, flip the whole room, and get the mattress out of here. So, yeah, nasty stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I had one. He talking about them coming out of the walls and coming out everywhere. So we had this clean out on a building in downtown Greenville, Section 8 community, and it was the whole entire building. Probably, I think we did about 36 units. So we got me and someone else. I was like, gonna have to go out there. I saw the time my office put it on there for me, and I was like, this isn't enough time. They're like, we got someone else coming out there for you. I'm like, okay, cool. So we're going through it, and they're like, the unit that's causing the issues is on the top floor. So I'm going through it. It's getting progressively worse. I get up to that unit. It's vacant, which is good. I'm glad it was. I walk in there, and they're everywhere. I mean, everywhere. They're all across it looks like the stove is moving, the dishwasher. I open that up. They're everywhere in there. Everything's pulled out, though. Everything's off. The fridge, I mean, everywhere you're looking, they're in. And they had gotten maintenance to move everything that was left in the unit to the middle of the floor. It was evicted.
Right.
So I just start my roach clean out, spraying. I'm using Phantom and Archer. That's usually what I use just to try to get the IDR in there, try to get Phantom, about close to terminal where I can get without getting in trouble. And I'm just going through there and I'm looking at the baseboards and I'm like, the fucking baseboards are moving. And there were so many that it literally looked like it was water or something like that, like dark water. Just, you can just see the waves of them. They're just coming out of there. I'm like, holy crap. And I look at the stuff in the middle and I'm like, well, they're going to have to throw all this stuff out. So I just take that. I take my wand, I'm spraying that stuff. And there's a box probably about the size of the iPhone 12 Max, your normal big smartphone, about that. And cardboard box, probably about 4 dozen roaches on this one thing. Probably more than that. I mean, this thing, I spray it and it's just coming out of there. They got mattresses and I'm hitting those and it's like bed bugs are infested, these mattresses. I mean, the roaches are all in there. I'm like, this is awful. This is so bad. I mean, I'm going down. I'm going away far from the kitchen, open up the closet, and they're just everywhere. You can see the little, black specks where they've crapped all over the place, and they got their nest all in the corners and everything. They're everywhere. And I'm like, man. Oh, my God. So I think I went through my whole entire B&G, and then when my supervisor got there, he went through another B&G through up there because we're just like, we need to soak this place down. And hose it. And then we get done and we're talking to the property management and saying you guys need to get rid of everything in there. And she's like, they haven't done it yet, the maintenance hasn't done it. I'm like, no ma'am, everything's still in there. They need to make sure they're wearing gloves, stuff like that. I would suggest wearing clothes they can throw out, taping everything down, that way they're not taking roaches with them. When they get home, they strip in front of the door, all of that. Same precautions we would take with a big German roach problem like that. Same thing I was kind of going to take that night because there's just so many of them. And the maintenance guy's just arguing with her, like, nah, I don't want to be doing that, blah, 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 blah. And he walks away and she's like, he'll be doing it or he'll be fired. So, yeah. But I'm just looking at the walls and I'm like, the fucking walls are talking, like the walls.
Oh, yeah. It's like that one they were eating as fast as I could put it out, man. It was disgusting. And Jesus' roach beard and all kinds of stuff.
Oh my God. They're everywhere in there. And I also had one like this week. Normal CLTC, go out to it. They've been having some German roaches in there. I won't describe that. That's not very nice. But the woman comes out and everything like that. Tell her I'm there to do her pest control. Basically, she has what's that thing that oh man, what's his name? Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox. Same disease.
Yeah.
Parkinson's. Yeah, she's got Parkinson's really, really bad.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is a shame and everything. So I'm just trying to, tell her what I'm doing. I have a kind of hard time talking to her, and she has a hard time talking to me. And so I'm going in the kitchen, and I notice a few roaches up where the molding is. So I spray it. I don't really see anything, and so I'm just going around, kind of just spraying. I kind of look back up, and there's just dozens and dozens of roaches that just came out there, and they're just all kind of looking at me like, really, fucker? Really? You think this is going to harm us? Nuclear weapons can't harm us.
That's right. Like, yeah, it's funny. That's like, you got to spray that lemonade.
Yeah.
Lovely.
We also had one where I do the church for our company's owner. We do that free of charge, of course. I'm per instruction first, so I'm fine with that.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I go in there and I'm walking around the lady. I hadn't met her. I've never done the inside of the church. I usually just do the outside because there's never usually issues. Well, they're having some mice issues. And she's like, yeah, y'all lay down a couple of traps. I think the blah, 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 came by and did it. I'm like, yeah, I think you told me something about that. And she's like, you smell that? I'm like, yeah, I do kind of smell it. So we walk in there, and I guess they haven't been inside where they have the kitchen and stuff for the church. They've just been in the sanctuary. Because I
Right.
walk in there, and there's a mouse in there that had been caught by the mouse trap, but you could see where another mouse or something else had been eating off it, and
Oh boy.
it stunk so bad.
Yeah.
All right, and I got one more final of my personal stories of disgusting things. So, same place I was talking about where we had was it the same place? Same management.
Right.
And this is in the middle of probably June, May, something like that. It's hot, and it's here in South Carolina, so it's probably about 90 degrees out. And the maintenance guy is like, yeah, we got this one unit that's vacant we needed to come into. The power's been cut off. So we need to go in there. It is a little nasty in there. They left some stuff in the fridge. So he's like, what I want you to do is we're going to throw the fridge out. So don't worry about it. But he's like, I want you to kind of go in there and spray. And he's like, I also want you to we'll open the fridge for you real quick. You spray in there, but just cover your nose. I'm like, it can't be that bad. So we go in there, we're spraying, pop open the fridge. There's a gallon of milk in there. Air in here is, getting up to probably in this unit, because it's the middle of South Carolina, gets humid,
Yes,
heat builds up probably about 100 degrees in there. And this milk has been sitting in there, all of that. Oh, I smelled it.
It's nasty. Rancid milk.
Rancid milk, and it was just so freaking gross. I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's very few things funkier than milk. Hot, nasty milk. There's very few things funkier than that.
No, I can give you a story of my personal life of and this doesn't have to do with pest control, but my family, we decided to go on vacation, and again, about 100-degree summer. So what my dad will do when we go on vacation, he turns off the power to certain things just to keep the power bill down when we go out of town. We come back, I'll go outside to the back porch.
Right.
My dad had turned off the power to the reach-in freezer we have out there.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
With about $200 to $300 worth of meat inside of it.
And that meat.
Yep.
Oh yeah, just like a roadkill in there. So
it was awful. I mean, this is baking in the sun whole entire week in South Carolina. It doesn't even get to be inside at all. It's right there where the sun is partially hitting it.
Right. Ugh. Oh yeah, a freezer full of rancid meat, and the gas builds up and it starts blowing through the seal where the freezer is. So you get that nasty blowout. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. And so it was about what the dead body smelled like. I think the dead body probably smelled worse because it was an actual human. But that's kind of what I thought of back when I end up smelling the body. I was like, this is kind of what that smells like. So he tasked me with cleaning it up. I'm trying to clean this up and everything. He comes back home and he's like, are you not wearing a mask or anything? And I'm like, no. He's like, let me get you something. He gets me like one of those painter masks. And so I slapped that thing like actually breathe, because I was like nearly throwing up trying to clean the stuff out. Well, we took Pine Sol and we cleaned it all out and everything like that. I had to do the same thing to the other freezer. A couple of nights go by. My mom makes pork chops, makes apple pork chops. We're eating them. Like, this doesn't taste right. This is
pissy pork.
This doesn't taste right. And I'm like, this tastes like Pine Sol.
What?
We didn't rinse the freezer out after cleaning with Pine Sol. So it is to the pork chop meat. And because of that, I cannot eat apple pork chops anymore because it tastes like Pine Sol to me. But
nasty.
Off that tangent, I just had to add that on there. So like, okay, we're talking about nasty smells, rotten meat that has to be in there.
Yeah. This is going to be a long episode, and we're not going to break it up into 2 parts because I know people listen to the second part. They don't listen to the first part. There's like not near as many listens on the first half of last week's episode as there were on the second. So you're just going to have to sit through a longer episode. Damn it.
Yep. Pause it when you go out of your truck, go in there and get old ladies to go take a little bite out of your cute little ass, and
that's right. My hanky ass.
My hanky. Whoa. We're gonna have to.
It's not a fireman.
We're gonna have to do a wildlife episode, and I'll do the whole episode in the voice of Dale, like the episode where he has to send the mongoose in to get rid of the rats and to get the.
That would be a good one, and we still have to do an episode about snakes. Man, I got stories about snakes.
Yes, we do.
but I want to put it out there to everybody who's listening. Send us ideas for what you'd like to hear on the show, like topics for a show. Send us ideas, things that you want to hear. I know a buddy of ours who actually really bending over backwards to help us out with this show. You know what I'm talking about, Nick.
Yeah, see, you actually sent a mic in, and so I don't know who you are. You're decided to stay anonymous to us. That will accept Jacked, but I really appreciate that, and my audio probably sounds a lot better. As my coworker described it last week, it sounded like I was talking through a tin can while a cat was attacking me, or something like that. So, thank you to whoever gifted me this mic. It's awesome. Just get the little screen thing on, and all of that is a lot better than the little gaming headset I was using before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he actually was asking for a technical episode, which I think maybe you ought to do like a little side episode of technical stuff for people who have questions. I would like to do a question and answer episode, like someone send us questions about stuff that we've seen, or I don't care if they're stupid questions or even if they're not pest control related. If it's funny, I'm good with it. I would like a Q&A one.
And I was thinking about, we could also do that there on a Reddit episode, Reddit Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
A very popular thing that people would do. So we could get that done once they get the Reddit page actually up and working.
Yeah, it'd be like a Cards Against Humanity for pest control, you know?
Oh, boy.
But no, that'd be great. But that's awesome. I think I'd love to hear some ideas from people for what we should do for an episode. That'd be cool.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and do our Reddit story. Sam Squat Shit, he is sending another story for us. Keep sending those stories in, and remember that you actually can send in stories via the email, the Facebook page, the Instagram, even our Twitter if you would want to. And also we do have a phone number you can call into. I'll go ahead and plug that again real quick. Let me get that pulled up. Should have already had that pulled up before I started, but well, if I can get it pulled up. There we go. That number is 864-810-1216. Again, that number is 864-810-1216. Please send your stories in. Whatever you got for us, send it in there. We can actually take that audio, go ahead and put it on the show. Me and Jack can go ahead and listen to that ahead of time or listen to it right before we put it on the show. And then, we'll talk about it. But like I say in the thing, please leave your name, your state.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Sorry, I popped out of there for a minute. I was with that number. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read this Reddit story. So myself and another coworker were contracted out for a cockroach job. They wanted us to service 4 apartment units, all which were adjacent to each other. 3 of apartments didn't have much of an infestation. Neighbors said they saw maybe 1 or 2 roaches from time to time, nothing serious. But then I get to the last unit, which was a corner unit, which the other 3 units were next to. As soon as I walk in, the first thing I notice is that there's no furniture. He has a couch and a TV, and that's it. His kitchen, however, is disgusting. Which he was indeed ready for a service. His cockroach infestation was the stuff of nightmares. Each cabinet and drawers had several flecking, and every time I would slide open a drawer, half a dozen roaches would drop down and scurry on my feet. I decided to forgo the typical treatment methods, loaded my B&G with Alpine, and just unleashed it on the kitchen, and sprayed every drawer and every cabinet along the baseboards. By the time I was done, the carpet was absolutely littered with dozens of dead roaches. My boss wanted me to take photos so he could report the tenant to property management. I can't still understand why the tenant had no furniture. His neighbors and the management told me he had been living there for years. This is just what puzzled me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been there and done that. Been there, you walk in, all they got is like a lawn chair and a big fucking 70-inch TV. And their PS4.
Oh man, that I tell you, I love when people send stuff in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. I love hearing these stories. I mean, I've been doing it 23 years. I got a lot of stories, but I'm gonna eventually run out. So I'm gonna rely on you people.
Yes,
to give me some good shit.
Run out. So do we got a theme we want to do for the next episode, Jack? Since you will be hosting.
I think I'm gonna go with snakes. I've been wanting to do a snake episode. I got a bunch of snake stories.
Snake. Okay, yeah.
Like I'm a snake.
No, snake. Yeah, you guys will need to submit some stories for that. I do not. I only have about 1 or 2 snake stories. I've only had one summer. So, and most of that was an apartment unit. So I unfortunately did not get to have that many snake calls. Hopefully this year I'll have a little more.
Yeah, send us on the email, talesfromthecrawlspace@gmail. TFTC Podcast on Instagram, Crawlspace Tales on Twitter, our Facebook page, the phone number that Nick just gave you. Leave us a voicemail. We'll actually put your mail in directly into the show.
And that number again is 864-810-1216. Like I said, just leave a voicemail. It will go directly to voicemail. You'll get to hear my wonderful and beautiful voice right there.
Oh, it's so sexy. You're gonna want to.
Yeah.
You might have to touch yourself when you listen because it gives you a tingle in your dangle. So
I already know Kate is, so I just love calling out the people who I know are listening.
Woo! So no, that sounds good. I look forward to snakes. I'm gonna be hosting next week, so we'll definitely do a snake episode. So send me your snake stuff. I want to hear all about it. I got some great ones, and I want to have some great ones too. And the way we've been doing, I think most of our episodes are going to run a little longer than 30 minutes, which I'm fine with because there's enough to talk about.
Yes, there always is.
Awesome. Well, I like the show. Nick, as always, you did a fantastic job. You do sound way better. And thank you to our good benevolent friend who hooked us up. It's people like that help people like us get to talk to people like you.
Yes, thank you, Tom Hanks, for sending this in. We really appreciate it. That's who this is going to be. It's going to be a different celebrity each week that I'm going to thank for.
That's right.
Who it is.
Did you remember? I did not have sex with that woman. All right. I guess that's it, Nick. So, yeah.
All right.
We let us know what you think about the show. Send us your feedback, everything. Look forward to hearing from you. And Nick, it's your time to sign off. So you can send us off with a song. You can sing something for us.
I will not sign you off a song because I don't like y'all that much. So I'm telling y'all to bug off and have a great week.
That's right. Go fuck yourselves. Catch you later.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Crawlspace podcast. You can find us on just about every single podcast outlet there is online. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll have a new episode next week. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram at TFTC Podcast, on Twitter at Crawlspace Tales, and you can also find us on Facebook at the Pest Control Humor Depot. See you next week.